Hey guys! Today we're going to talk about Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, and all 8 episodes are currently available on Netflix. I'm going to do an individual quick rating for every episode, and then we're going to wrap the whole thing up at the end with my overall thoughts on the show. For your information, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities is an anthology series. Each of the episodes is self-contained. Spoilers will only be relevant for the episode we're discussing. For now, let's go ahead and jump right into Lot 36, directed by Guillermo Navarro. So I really liked this episode. I thought it was a wonderful introduction to the Cabinet of Curiosities series. Visually, this episode had a lot of really little interesting details and background noises, elements that gave atmosphere, ambiance, and a little bit more context than we would have had without them. So there's some great visual storytelling going on. Lot 36 opens with a mini adventure. We start with an old man eating what looks like a frozen dinner. He hobbles up, his whole house is really messy and cluttered, and he starts cutting animal that I didn't recognize, butchering it. I mean, maybe it was a recognizable animal and I'm just not very familiar with butchering, but I was kind of sitting there wondering
what kind of creature is this and how weird is it that he's butchering something when it looks like he's eating pre-made frozen meal.
But we don't have too long to linger on this because while he's butchering the creatures, he has a heart attack and dies. Then we jump into the whole storage wars kind of premise that's going on here, and we follow our main character as he buys the infamous Lot 36 that our old man has just left unattended. I really liked this premise. It gave us a lot of opportunities to peek inside someone else's life, get some pictures and props and other interesting things involved. As far as our main character goes, he's kind of unlikable, but that's fine. You don't have to like them all. You just have to go on the journey with them. I loved Agatha, who was this pawn shop antiques dealer that he went to get some pricing on some of the items he found. And I could totally do a TV show series or a movie surrounding Agatha. She could even host her own anthology as far as I'm concerned, and we could just do individual stories of how she got different pieces and how she kind of learned some of the arcane lore that she shares with our main character. I've got to say, it seems like Del Toro is a little overly obsessed with World War II and rehashing that story and adding mystical elements into it. This particular episode reminded me a lot of The Strain, but kind of in the best ways. There's this one character who comes in who I think might actually be the same actor from The Strain, but I didn't bother to look it up. Pretty much playing the same character if he is that actor. He's playing old Nazi guy who's giving us all the information about the stuff we're finding in the storage locker, but he's not necessarily super reliable because we get the impression that maybe he was also involved in some of these atrocities and he's either overplaying this dead guy's participation or underselling his own, kind of trying to make himself the most sympathetic and making the dead guy the least sympathetic. And I don't know if that's accurate. So there's the ambiguity there, and it's not any of that really matters as far as a storytelling perspective goes because the main character we're following around is super racist, just sort of dismisses everything. He's only interested in getting that money. As you might be able to guess from this summary and my description, and I haven't even covered all of the parts, there is a lot moving and happening and fluid in this show. This particular episode has a lot of deep themes going with racism and the unknown and magic and the occult. And it's interesting and going someplace I really like and telling the kind of story I'm very engaged in. But I can tell not all of the parts are 100% coming together. My 4 out of 5 on this has more to do with all the different ideas I liked and really enjoyed and a very cathartic ending on it. But the overall execution is a little bit jumbled. That's not the director's fault though. I think the director did a great job. He has these moving cameras. He does this really interesting thing with the storage unit where the light has a turn switch on it, and after the turn switch comes back up, the light goes off. So that's a reoccurring thing that helps build tension and drama. I think the story itself, which Del Toro wrote, doesn't come together 100%. I definitely think they did everything they could on screen with it. I don't think it needed any more time. I think it stayed exactly the right length of time on screen. But thematically, it felt unfinished. Like, was it trying to say something about racism and intolerance? Was it trying to say something about like human experimentation going too far and humanity pushing past its boundaries into something truly dangerous? And there's a lot of like also unexplained elements left on the floor. Like, we get to see that the old man was visiting this storage unit every single day. He'd spend an hour in there, did this weird like jumping thing before he unlocked the unit. Like, what was the jumping thing for? Was that some kind of like warding situation or good luck charm, or like is he just like weird? It leaves you with a lot of questions, and I liked that because it left me thinking about it for a little while afterwards, and it had a lot of memorable moments in a story that is like pretty standard in this genre. Wonderful introduction. I'm hoping for more from other stories, but this one is still a solid 4 out of 5 for me. I have been spending months watching, reviewing, and going through footage of different Del Toro works, and I'm still in love with his storytelling, his style, and his themes. I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Let me know by leaving a like and comment down below. Tell me if you're watching Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, and if so, what is your favorite episode you've seen so far? Thanks for watching, and as always, keep reading. Bye!